Create a compelling YouTube video script for a monk who gives lessons with an eye-catching video title. And give me engaging with call to action CTA video description and hashtags all best. And more subscribers YouTube channel whose contents related to this channel with YouTube channel name Soulful Wisdom and its link. Soulful Wisdom, YouTube such hashtags at video descriptions, hashtag spiritual wisdom, hashtag mindfulness, hashtag inner peace, hash meditation, hashtag spiritual growth, hashtag mantras, hashtag bhajans, hashtag yoga for well-being, hashtag self-discovery, hashtag motivation, hashtag life lessons, hashtag conscious living, hashtag manifestation, hashtag ancient wisdom, hashtag soul journey video script with 9 things that will happen to anyone who messes with a chosen one. Write a unique script that conveys valuable advice and insightful stories, seamlessly weaving together related phrases without separate phrases or disconnected ideas. The script should be really long and should be about 60 minutes long, engaging, informative, and easy to follow with a clear structure and flow. Incorporate the monk's wisdom and anecdotes to make the content relatable and memorable. The goal is to inspire viewers to reflect on their priorities and make the most of their time, with a focus on self-reflection, personal growth, and mindfulness. The script should be comprehensive, covering key life lessons and experiences that the monk has learned throughout his journey, with a conversational tone that makes the audience feel like they're having a direct conversation with the monk himself. The video should seem to inspire a sense of calm, contemplation, and introspection. This will be the initial page 1 and will be requested for next conversation pages. And please keep ending continue for the next page conversation. I also inform already that this video scripts contain total number of 65 pages, and then final page after 6th page. End of every pages will get requested to be continue conversation for the next page. And end of every pages keep continue conversation for the next page. And continue conversation continue from where ended from the last page conversation. Let's get started. Page 1 with video title and descriptions. Page 1. Peace be upon you, dear one. Sit with me for a moment in stillness, in silence, and let us breathe together. Because what I'm about to share with you is not just a story, but a deep truth etched into the fabric of the universe. There are certain souls on this earth who walk quietly but carry the strength of mountains within them. They are the chosen ones, not chosen by man, not appointed by title or robe, but chosen by the divine will of the cosmos itself. These souls are placed here with purpose, and when someone tries to harm, deceive, or break a chosen one, the consequences are not man-made, they are spiritual. Today, I will guide you through 9 truths, 9 sacred outcomes that manifest when someone chooses to disturb a soul who was sent here for divine purpose. Let us begin with the first one. The law of reflection will activate immediately. Tell you. See, the universe is a mirror. When someone sends harm toward a chosen one, they are not just sending energy, they are planting a seed that will bloom in their own field. I've seen this many times, people who lied, manipulated, or betrayed a chosen one only to find themselves surrounded by confusion, loss, and emotional disarray. It is not punishment, it is reflection. The universe simply says, you have disturbed balance. Let me show you what that feels like. So if someone wrongs a chosen one, their own life begins to echo the same chaos they tried to create for another. Not as revenge, but as a lesson. 2. They will experience sudden loss, not always in the form of money or belongings, but something deeper. They may lose trust from others, they may lose their sense of peace. They may even lose clarity. I recall a young man who mocked a quiet monk in my village, laughed at his silence and simplicity. Within months, that young man began losing friendships, opportunities, and even his sleep. He confessed to me later that he felt cursed, but I told him it wasn't a curse, it was a redirection. A wake-up call. When you mess with someone who is protected by spiritual law, the universe gently removes your distractions until you listen. 3. Their hidden insecurities will rise to the surface. Chosen one often reflects the truth that others try to hide. They carry a light that exposes what lies beneath the surface. And when someone harms them, their own unresolved pain begins to surface. Why? Because spiritual energy awakens all things, both divine and dormant. I met a woman once who gossiped viciously about a meditating nun. Soon, her own guilt began to eat away at her peace. Not because someone cursed her, but because the presence of spiritual purity naturally reveals impurity. The chosen one need not retaliate. Their energy does the work. 4. Their own spiritual path will become blocked. Cannot harm a divine soul and continue to ascend. It's like trying to reach the sky while throwing stones at the sun. You may try, but the fall is inevitable. Spiritual growth requires humility. And when ego leads someone to attack those who live in surrender and love, their own path becomes tangled. They begin to feel stuck, spiritually lost, and disconnected from divine flow. This is the mercy of the universe, because being stuck forces reflection. And reflection opens the doorway to change. 5. They will start attracting chaos into their lives. Energy moves like water, it finds its way back to the source. Whatever you pour into others will eventually return to you, multiplied. So, when someone stirs conflict with a chosen one, chaos begins to leak into their life like a flood. Arguments increase. Accidents happen, miscommunications arise, not because the chosen one is vengeful, but because divine energy cannot be violated without energetic consequences. As I always say, if you don't respect peace, don't be surprised when you drown in noise. My dear listener, I know this may sound intense, but remember, this is not about fear. It's about awareness. It's about understanding the sacred order of the universe. When you walk with good intentions, love, and mindfulness, you are protected. But when you act out of jealousy, ego, or hate, especially against those chosen for divine tasks, you invite your own lessons. This is why the chosen ones are always encouraged to remain silent, to remain calm. Because nature does not scream, it balances. The wind doesn't argue, it simply moves. Let us take a breath now. We have walked through 5 of the 9 sacred truths. In the next part of our conversation, I will share the final 4 things that unfold when someone disturbs a chosen one's path. And these final truths are the most transformative. They involve spiritual visitation, karmic acceleration, and even the return of divine blessings to the chosen one magnified. But we will continue that story in the next page. We return now. My dear seeker of truth, our breath soft, our heart open, our soul quiet and ready to receive. You may remember, we spoke of 5 sacred consequences, truths that unfold when someone chooses to disturb a chosen one. These truths are not myths, they are not threats. They are cosmic laws rooted in harmony, cause and effect, balance, and divine order. Now, we continue this journey into the remaining truths. These are deeper, more subtle, but also more powerful and undeniably transformative. Let us begin with the 6th 6. They will be visited by restless energy in their dreams when a chosen one is harmed. Even unintentionally, the energetic imbalance created doesn't simply vanish, it echoes. And often, it shows up in dreams. The person who caused harm may begin to have disturbing visions. They may see shadows, feel chased, or wake with unease. They may see the face of the person they wronged again and again without explanation. Why? Does this happen? Because the spirit realm does not sleep. And when you've interfered with someone on a spiritual mission, their energy lingers in your field until balance is restored. I once spoke with a merchant who slandered a peaceful sage for being lazy and unproductive. Days later, he came to me pale, trembling. He said, "I keep seeing him in my dreams. I hear chants I don't understand, and I wake up crying." I gently told him, "Your soul is trying to apologize. Even if your ego has not." 7. Karma will accelerate rapidly. Karma, often misunderstood as punishment, but truly, it is the teacher. When someone interferes with a chosen one, karma doesn't punish them, it speeds up their lessons. Their choices return faster. Their intentions are revealed quickly. What would have taken years to unfold now arrives in weeks, sometimes days. You see, the presence of a chosen one activates the unseen realm. They walk as living mirrors, reflecting truth back to others. If you show them love, you feel blessed. If you project hate, your own fears rise like a storm. I have watched people suddenly lose all they clung to, not as cruelty, but because the divine wished to awaken them, to cleanse them, to push them toward a path of truth they were too afraid to take. It is only when the soul is shaken that it listens deeply. 8 blessings will multiply for the chosen one. Here is a truth many miss. When someone tries to harm a chosen one, the pain inflicted becomes fuel for the chosen one's elevation. Yes, this is the sacred paradox. The more they are challenged, the more they rise. The more they are misunderstood, the more their spirit strengthens, and the more they are betrayed, the more divine protection surrounds them. You cannot dim the light of someone whose fire is divine. You may try to cage them with words, shame them with lies, or isolate them with silence, but like the lotus in mud, they bloom brighter in adversity. So while the one who harms them experiences loss and reflection, the chosen one begins to receive divine gifts, wisdom, peace, clarity, and sometimes even miracles. I remember a monk who was cast out of his temple for speaking truths that were too uncomfortable. He wandered alone, ridiculed, but within a year, he was guiding thousands in silence and presence. His pain had been transformed into a doorway for others to awaken. This is the nature of divine justice. It is not loud, but it is absolute. 9. They will have to confront their own Sauland. Now, The final and most sacred truth: when you harm a chosen one, knowingly or unknowingly, eventually, you will be brought face to face with yourself. No hiding behind titles. No escaping behind distractions. The masks fall away, and you are left with the raw truth of who you are and who you have become. This confrontation may happen in meditation, in stillness, or in a moment of solitude when the soul can no longer ignore its own echo. Some break down in tears. Some feel shame, some awaken, repent, and rise anew. And this, my dear one, is the highest grace. Because the chosen one's purpose is not to punish, it is to awaken, to reflect, to remind the world of truth, love, and the eternal laws that govern us all. So now you know the 9 things that happen when someone interferes with a divine soul on a divine path. It is a sacred warning. But more than that, it is a reminder: tread gently in this world, speak kindly, move mindfully, and honor those whose silence holds more power than 1,000 words. If you are a chosen one, stay the course. If you've wronged one, seek reflection, not guilt. And if you wish to grow, plant your intentions in light. Let us end this part of our journey with a moment of stillness. Close your eyes, inhale deeply, exhale gently, and ask your soul this question: am I moving in harmony with what is sacred? We've completed the 9 truths, but this journey is far from over. In the next chapter, I will guide you deeper into the heart of what it truly means to be a chosen one. Not just how others treat you, but how you must walk, the responsibilities, the solitude, the divine tests, and the great awakening that waits on the other side. Join me next step, where we continue the sacred conversation and walk the path of the chosen with clarity, courage, and compassion. Welcome back, dear soul. If you're still here with me, that tells me something about you. You're not just curious, you're a seeker, a listener, a soul ready to go deeper. In the last part of our sacred conversation, we explored the first 5 things that happen when someone interferes with a chosen one. We witnessed how energy reflects back, how karma accelerates, and how divine balance unfolds with quiet precision. Now, we continue this journey not as spectators, but as participants in spiritual law. Let us walk together into the final 4 truths. These go beyond the surface. They whisper of things the world cannot always see, but the soul always feels. Let's begin with the 6th. 6. They will be haunted by what they cannot name. When someone wrongs a chosen one, especially someone living in deep surrender, the energy they disturb doesn't just vanish into the air. It lingers, and it enters the energetic field of the one who caused the harm. This may show up as strange dreams, sudden feelings of unease, moments of being watched or followed, even when alone. No, it is not superstition. It is sensitivity. You see, the chosen one's soul is protected not by walls, but by frequencies, divine vibrations that echo through realms. Disturb those frequencies, and your own spiritual senses begin to awaken, not through joy but through discomfort. I once knew a man who insulted a wandering monk out of pride. He laughed loudly in front of the village, but later confessed, "I feel something's watching me. I feel like I can't sleep. I don't know why." He had stirred a current beyond his understanding. It wasn't punishment, it was a gentle knock from the soul asking, "Are you aligned?" 7. Karma does not delay, it intensifies. People often believe karma is slow, but that's only because most of the time, the universe waits patiently for the soul to learn. However, when someone harms a chosen one, karma doesn't wait, it intensifies. Why? Because the chosen are not just individuals. They are vessels of collective healing. Harming them is like poisoning a well that others drink from. And so, karma moves swiftly, not as revenge, but to restore the balance needed for the collective. I have witnessed people lose status, jobs, partners, peace, all within weeks of misusing their energy toward a soul on divine assignment. And those people, more often than not, weren't evil. They were simply unconscious. But remember, karma doesn't judge your intention. It mirrors your vibration. If you hurt a being who walks in truth, you're not just creating pain, you're interfering with the divine timeline, and the universe will correct that immediately. 8 blessings multiply for the chosen. Onia. Yes, this is one of the most sacred paradoxes of all. The more darkness that is thrown at the chosen one, the brighter their soul becomes. The more rejection they face, the more elevation they receive. The more betrayal they endure, the deeper their divine favor grows. Why? Because their pain is transmuted into power, their suffering becomes surrender, and their silence becomes strength. You cannot defeat a soul that is not attached to this world. You cannot destroy someone who lives to serve not self, but spirit. What others meant to break them becomes the very thing that builds their wings. I have seen monks exiled from temples only to become spiritual beacons for millions. I have seen kind souls laughed at, mocked, left alone only to rise in grace, leading with wisdom. The universe protects its servants, and when they are struck, they are not weakened. They are anointed. 9. They will eventually have to face their own Salon now. we come to the final truth, perhaps the hardest, and yet the most sacred. When someone wrongs a chosen one, they may think they've walked away unscathed. But in time, they are brought face to face with the one being they cannot escape themselves. The soul will not stay quiet forever. At some point, maybe in solitude, maybe after a deep loss, maybe during a breakdown, it speaks, and when it does, all the truth comes flooding back. The face of the one they wronged, the purity they mocked, the warning signs they ignored, all rise to the surface, asking the question, who have you become? Some weep, some run, but the wisest, they sit, they listen, they repent, and in that, they are reborn, because ultimately, the chosen one is not your enemy, they are your teacher. And the universe is always giving you a second chance to remember that. And so, we arrive at the end of the 9 truths, but not the end of the journey. Because now that you know what happens to those who harm a chosen one, in our next sacred chapter, we shall explore what it truly means to be a chosen one, the loneliness, the hidden responsibilities, the spiritual tests no one sees, and the deep love that drives them forward, even when the path is empty. If your soul feels called, I invite you to join me for page 3. Because in the next part of this story, we go deeper into purpose, into power, into the sacred silence of your own calling. Welcome back. You have walked with me through the unseen. You've listened to truths the world rarely whispers, and now we turn the mirror inward. Until now, we have spoken of what happens to others when they disturb the energy of a chosen one. But now, dear soul, let us speak of the chosen ones themselves. Let us speak of you, because if you've made it this far, if your heart has stirred, if your eyes have softened at these truths, then there is a good chance you are not just here to learn, you are here to remember. Who are the chosen ones, really? Let me make this clear. Being a chosen one is not about pride. It is not about being special. It is about being responsible. It is a calling, a contract made long before this life began. A quiet agreement between your soul and the source. It does not come with titles. It does not require fame, robes, or rituals. It is felt in silence, in solitude, in sacrifice. You may have always felt different, sensitive, drawn to truth, uninterested in the things others chase. You may have been misunderstood, judged, even abandoned. But beneath it all, you carried an inner compass, a knowing that somehow you were here, not just to exist, but to serve. The path is narrow, and often lone. Like chosen ones are not chosen because they are perfect. They are chosen because they are willing to walk alone when others follow the crowd, willing to speak truth when silence is safer, willing to be judged and still remain kind. This is not easy. You may have felt lonely in rooms full of people. You may have seen through lies others believed. You may have found peace in nature, but chaos in the world of noise. That is not by accident. Your path was never meant to be wide. It was meant to be sacred. Because when you are called to carry light, you will be tested by darkness. The tests are silent, but sacred. The life of a chosen one is not always loud, but it is deeply watched by the universe. You will face betrayal so you may learn unconditional love. You will experience loss so you may detach from illusion. You will be misunderstood so you may master stillness. And when you pass these tests not with perfection, but with presence, you unlock deeper layers of truth. There is a reason the most powerful souls walk quietly. Their strength is not shown in words, but in how they carry pain without letting it poison. And yes, you may cry, you may doubt, but even in your doubt, you return to peace. And that, dear one, is the sign. The fire within you is ancient. You feel it, that inner whisper, that voice that says, keep going, even when no one understands, even when nothing seems to make sense. That is your eternal flame. That is the memory of lifetimes of growth, of wisdom earned in silence, of love cultivated through suffering, of light preserved in the darkness. You are not here to argue with the world, you are here to embody a new one. And when you walk with compassion, when you speak from soul, when you forgive without needing an apology, you are answering your calling. You carry a frequency that cannot be touched. Chosen ones do not need to shout, their energy speaks. They walk into rooms and the atmosphere changes, not because of charisma, but because of clarity. They are not swayed by flattery, not pulled by power, because they serve something higher, something invisible, something eternal. And this, dear one, is your quiet armor, your gentle shield. The world may not see it, but the universe bows to it. And the more you walk in it, the more you will find yourself exactly where you're meant to be, even if the path looks uncertain. So now, you see, being chosen is not about being better, it's about remembering who you truly are, even when the world forgets. It is a vow to rise each day with integrity, to love where others hate, to serve where others take, to surrender where others control, and yes, to walk alone, so others may find the way. But this path does not end here. In our next sacred chapter, we will go deeper into the 7 soul signs that reveal you are walking in your final incarnation. the final cycle of your earthly path. How to note, how to listen, and how to prepare your soul for what's next. Because when the chosen ones complete their lessons, their light becomes eternal. Join me the next step, where we will uncover the deep mysteries of soul cycles, reincarnation, and the purpose behind your most profound life patterns. The journey continues, dear seeker. Welcome back, my dear soul traveler. You've walked with me through the shadows and this sacred. You've learned what happens when one disturbs the soul on a divine path, and you've begun to recognize what it means to be that soul, the chosen one. But now, we step even deeper. Today, I want to speak to those of you who have felt this strange sense of finality, a quiet awareness that this life, this chapter feels like the last one, not in fear, but in clarity. You've asked yourself, why do things feel different now? Why do I see through the illusions faster than before? Why am I being pulled inward so strongly? Like I'm preparing for something beyond this life. These are not coincidences, these are soul signs. And today, I will share with you 7 deep signals that you are reaching the end of your incarnation cycle. Not an end to life, but the completion of the karmic wheel, the closing of your soul's earth-based lessons, and the preparation for transcendence. 1. You feel a constant detachment from the material world. Even when things go well for you, externally the part of you remains neutral. You appreciate beauty, you're grateful, but you no longer chase possessions, no longer define you. Success, fame, money, they don't hold the same power they once did. This isn't depression, it's detachment. Your soul is gently letting go because it no longer needs to cling. You are beginning to remember that none of this is truly yours. It's all a sacred play, and the curtain is slowly closing. 2. You have a deep inner knowing that you've done this before. Have you ever looked around at life and thought, I already know how this ends? Or sensed conversations, relationships, even places that's strangely familiar? This is not imagination. It is cellular memory. Your soul remembers its cycles, its failures, its growth, its ancient vows. And now, it feels done, not tired but complete. You are not avoiding life, you are witnessing it from a place beyond repetition. This is the soul whispering, we've learned the lesson, it's time to return. 3. You are drawn to solitude, stillness, and silence in it because you are lonely. But because silence has become your medicine, your sanctuary, you crave less noise, fewer distractions, and more simplicity. While others drown in stimulation, you seek the quiet voice of spirit. You understand now that clarity doesn't come from more information, it comes from deeper presence. And you feel it more than ever before. You are not your thoughts, you are the awareness behind them. This shift is not random. It is the natural evolution of a soul nearing its final integration. 4. You've broken the generational cycles within your lineage, whether through forgiveness, healing, or spiritual awakening. You've chosen to stop what many before you repeated: anger, abuse, control, fear. You've looked them in the eye and said no more. You were not here just to live. You were here to rewrite the legacy of your bloodline, and you've done it quietly, without applause, without recognition, but the universe has seen, and your soul has completed its mission in this domain. 5. Your intuition has become unmistakable. You no longer second-guess your inner voice. You know things without needing proof. You sense danger before it arrives. You feel when someone is hiding their pain. You move with an invisible compass, guided not by logic, but by soul wisdom. This sharpened intuition is not just a gift, it's a preparation. The universe is tuning you for something beyond the 5 senses. 6. You've forgiven those who never apologize. This is one of the highest signs. You are no longer waiting for others to fix what they broke. You've let go of the need to be right. You've released the weight of revenge or validation, because you now see everyone is walking their own soul path. Some are still asleep, some are still suffering, and your healing is no longer dependent on their awareness. This kind of forgiveness only comes when the soul no longer needs anything from this world. Not closure, not control, just peace. 7. You are becoming a mirror for others' awakening. You've noticed this, haven't you? People open up to you without knowing why. They tell you their secrets, they cry in your presence. They say you feel different. Some are drawn to you, and others are triggered by you. This is because your soul now holds the frequency of remembrance. You're not here to convince, you're here to remind. Your very presence shakes things loose in others. Not because of ego, but because of your alignment. This is the mark of a soul completing its earth school. You are no longer here to learn, you are here to reflect the light for others. Dear one, if these signs have spoken to you, if something in your heart whispers, yes, this is me, then do not fear. This life is not your end, it is your completion. It is your ceremony of closure, it is your silent graduation, but you must finish it well. With love, with humility, with grace, for even if this is your final lifetime here, you are still a student of the divine until your last breath. Walk gently now, speak softly, and listen more than ever before. because your soul is preparing for what lies beyond the veil. In our next chapter, we will journey into what happens after the soul's final life. What does ascension look like? What is the soul's purpose beyond earth, and how can you prepare your spirit for peaceful transition while still living fully? The end is not the end. It is the unfolding of all you've ever been and all you are destined to become. Join me in the next step, where we will explore the soul's next dimension of awakening. Welcome back, beloved soul. In our last chapter, we walked through 7 signs that reveal when your soul is nearing the end of its earthly journey, not an ending in sorrow, but a completion in silence, a sacred return to truth. And now, as we continue together, I will share something many sense, but few can put into words. We will now speak of the beyond, the great return. What happens after the final incarnation, not as fantasy, not as theory, but as wisdom whispered to me, through prayer, through silence, and through spirit. If your soul has been feeling this shift, if you've sensed that you are no longer just here to do, but to ascend, then listen closely. This is the truth of what lies beyond the veil, what happens after your final earth life. Many people think death is the end, but the soul knows otherwise. It knows this body is temporary. It knows time is an illusion. It knows the lessons of earth are just one classroom in an infinite school of becoming. When your final incarnation is complete, you don't rise away from life, you rise into divine remembrance. You awaken not as a person, but as pure presence. You are no longer bound by karma. You are no longer cycling through lessons, egos, fears, or desires. You are now free to serve from a higher plane, but even this freedom is not escape. It is expansion. You enter the realm of service, not escape. After the final incarnation, your soul doesn't vanish into nothingness, no. It becomes part of the guiding field. You become a light for others, not with a body, not with words, but with presence. You may appear in dreams to those still waking up. You may nudge someone toward a choice they didn't know they needed. You may whisper to the heart of a stranger standing at the edge of despair. You become a divine helper, a bridge between the physical and the eternal, an unseen hand resting on the shoulder of those still in the fog. And you do it joyfully, not out of duty, but from the highest love. Because when you are free, you no longer seek escape. You become pure service. You are released from karma, but not from compassion. Let us make something clear. Completion does not mean disconnection. Yes, the cycles of birth and death are over. Yes, your soul has integrated the dualities of light and dark. But that does not mean you disappear into silence forever. You may join councils of higher beings. You may become a guide for other chosen ones still walking earth. You may even be given the sacred choice to return not for karma, but for service. This is what the masters have done. Bodhisattvas, saints, prophets, they returned, not because they had to, but because their compassion was greater than their comfort. And so will you. If your soul is ready, you will remember who you truly are. Imagine waking up from a dream so vivid that you thought it was real for lifetimes. Now imagine suddenly remembering, I am not this name, I am not this fear, I am not this story. You are awareness itself. You are part of the divine intelligence that dreamed all of this into being. And when that remembrance returns, peace floods your being. There is no pain, no judgment, no regret, only love, only truth, only reunion. How do you prepare for this transition? The truth is you already are. Every time you choose stillness over distraction, every time you forgive when you could have fought, every time you sit in silence and listen to the gentle hum of your soul, you are preparing. It is not about doing more, it is about being more. Being fully present, being honest with yourself, being gentle with others. Because the soul does not ascend through achievement, it ascends through alignment. And every breath taken with awareness moves you closer to the doorway. What you leave behind becomes a path for others. Dear soul, when you complete your time here, you don't just leave a memory. You leave a vibration. Your energy remains, your choices echo, your love lingers. Even if no one knows your name, even if no books are written about you, your silent work of healing yourself becomes a map for someone else. The next soul, walking barefoot through darkness, will unknowingly step into the light you left behind. That is your legacy, not fame, not fortune, but frequency. So now you know. Dear one, your journey does not end with death, it transforms. You will return, not to earth, but to the eternal field of divine presence, where your soul becomes part of the great harmony again. But we are not finished yet. In our final chapter, we will explore the final tasks of the chosen one before ascension. What must be completed, what must be surrendered, and how can you walk your final path in complete peace? Join me one last time as we prepare the soul for its greatest return. Welcome, dear seeker, to this final portion of our mortal preparation. Here, we explore the final tasks of the chosen one before ascension, the gentle, sacred endings that pave the way for a new beginning beyond the earthly realm. Every step you take in this lifetime, every trial you endure is a lesson apart of a divine curriculum designed for your awakening. And now, as the end of this incarnation draws near, the tasks that lie before you are both profound and tender in their nature. 1. Surrendering the illusions of control before the soul may ascend. It must release the grip on what is transient. Control the illusion of controlling outcomes, people, or fate must be surrendered. Imagine a river flowing naturally. To resist its current is to invite struggle, but to let go is to allow the water to carry you where it must go. The chosen one learns that true power lies not in domination but in surrender. In practical moments, this means releasing the need to fix every circumstance, to direct every outcome. It means trusting that the divine order, as mysterious and vast as it is, has already set your course. When you release control, you make space for grace. 2. Cleansing the heart through forgiveness for ascension. Forgiveness must be offered. Like a liberating prayer, this forgiveness is not for those who have wronged you alone, but a profound act of self-healing. Your own heart must be purified so that no lingering bitterness may tether you to past sorrows. Reflect on all the resentments you have carried, be it towards others or yourself. Each moment you have clung to hurt, you have held yourself back from the light. Open your heart in forgiveness. Let those heavy chains melt away, and embrace the freedom that comes with compassion and understanding. Forgiveness is both a release and a gift that you give to yourself, paving the way for the next stage of your soul's journey. 3. Integrating the lessons of duality. Every chosen one must reconcile the dualities of existence, the dance of light and dark, joy and sorrow. In your final tasks, it is essential to integrate these lessons so that they no longer exist as opposites, but as harmonious parts of a whole. Consider the yin and yang of your experiences. Every hardship has revealed a hidden grace, every victory a humble reminder of impermanence. Your task is to sit with these dualities until they dissolve into a singular awareness, one that sees all life as interconnected and beautifully interdependent. As you integrate these lessons, the boundaries between self and other, between pain and pleasure, begin to blur, revealing the oneness of the cosmos and your place within it. 4. Embracing the silence within. In the final moments of your earthly sojourn, the noise of life gives way to the sacred silence, a silence in which your soul speaks most clearly. Learn to honor the stillness within. It is not an emptiness, but a profound presence, a reservoir of wisdom beyond words. In moments of solitude, whether during early dawn or the quiet after a long day, listen deeply to the whispers of your heart. This sacred silence prepares you for ascension by aligning your inner frequency with the subtle currents of the divine. When you embrace the stillness, you allow the vast reservoir of universal love and knowledge to flood your being. 5. Living in complete presence. Presence is the final gift you carry as you complete your earthly cycle. To live fully in the now, free from regret about the past or anxiety about the future, is the hallmark of one preparing for a greater transition. Each moment you spend anchored in presence is a moment that sharpens your awareness of the eternal. It is in these moments, the touch of a loved one, the scent of blooming flowers, the quiet beauty of a sunrise, that you experience the true essence of life. Cultivate presence in every breath, every heartbeat. Let it become the baseline of your existence, a steady reminder that you are already part of the divine tapestry woven into the eternal now. 6. Sharing your light one last time before the curtain of this life gently falls. The chosen one is called to share the light that has been kindled within. This is not about grand gestures or public acclaim. It is about simple, heartfelt acts of kindness that serve as beacons for others still searching in the dark. Be the embodiment of your truths. Offer your light generously, knowing that even the smallest gesture, a smile, a kind word, a compassionate touch, can ignite a spark in someone's soul. Your light is a legacy. It endures long after the physical form has faded. In sharing your light, you remind the world of the beauty and potential that exists within every soul. It is a gentle farewell that resonates with the promise of infinite return. Dear one, these are the final tasks that prepare the chosen one for ascension, a sacred transition from the limitations of the earthly realm to the boundless horizons of the divine. To surrender control, to forgive, to integrate dualities, to embrace silence, to live in presence, and ultimately, to share your light. Each is a step toward embracing your true essence. In this closing moment of page 6, I invite you to close your eyes, take a deep, cleansing breath, and let your heart echo with gratitude for the journey thus far. Know that every task fulfilled brings you closer to the majestic union with the eternal, and yet, our journey is not yet complete. There is one final chapter awaiting, a deep exploration of the soul's ultimate destiny, the transcendent role of the chosen one in the eternal cycle of awakening. Welcome back, sacred traveler. You have walked with me through pages of self-discovery, forgiveness, courage, and surrender, and now we step into the great mystery itself. This is the final threshold before we reach the end of the sacred journey. It is here that we explore the ultimate truths that reveal themselves to a chosen one before they transcend this life. Let us continue walking this path side by side. 1. The realization that death is not an end, but a return to chosen. One comes to understand truly, deeply that death is not a punishment, nor something to fear. It is a return, a homecoming. A passage from the density of the physical world back into the vast embrace of the divine source. You see, most people live their entire lives fearing the end, but a chosen one does not cling. They are not afraid of what comes next because they know they feel that what awaits is not darkness, but unimaginable light. This realization births peace. The kind of peace that softens every goodbye, that turns tears into prayers and loss into liberation. 2. The disappearance of the I as one nears the completion of their soul's mission. Something quietly dissolves, the sense of a separate self. The I becomes quiet. The ego, once loud with desires and fears, bows its head in reverence to something much greater. The chosen one begins to feel everything as one. No longer do they say, I am suffering, but there is suffering, and I am witnessing it. They begin to dissolve into presence, into the pure awareness that exists before words, beyond form. This is the sacred unraveling, the unraveling of all illusion. 3. Seeing the divine in everyone. In the twilight of their mission, the chosen ones' vision changes not physically, but spiritually. They no longer see people as roles, mother, enemy, stranger, friend. They see them as flickers of the divine flame. Even those who once caused them pain are viewed through the lens of compassion. Their suffering is understood, their ignorance forgiven. And even their attacks are recognized as cries for healing. When you see the divine in all, you no longer divide the world into good and bad, you simply bow inwardly to the sacred play unfolding all around you. 4. The energy of detachment, coldness. Not indifference, but detachment. The chosen one's love becomes unconditional, but their attachment fades. They love everyone, and yet they do not cling. They experience joy, but they do not crave it. They taste sorrow, but they do not drown in it. Detachment is the soul's maturity. It allows you to walk through storms and sunlight with equal serenity. Because your roots are no longer in external conditions, they are planted in the eternal. 5. The gathering of soul fragments as they prepare to ascend. The chosen one begins to call back every part of themselves they once left behind in past traumas. In heartbreak, in old identities and forgotten dreams, every version of themselves is embraced. Not judged, not buried, but welcomed home. They say, I forgive you. To the past self who was lost, they whisper, I see you. To the inner child who once feared the dark. And in doing so, they become whole. Before a soul ascends, it gathers itself completely so that it may return to source fully aware of who it has become. 6. The final blessing of earth and the final stretch. The chosen one blesses the earth. They do this not just with rituals or chants, but with the presence of gratitude. Each moment becomes sacred, each breath a prayer, each footstep a kiss upon the soil. They walk slowly, they speak gently, they love deeply, they radiate peace because they are peace. This final blessing is not only for earth, it is a gift to humanity. Their vibration lingers long after they depart, like incense rising after the flame has gone out. Dear soul, if you are hearing these words, perhaps you, too, are a chosen one. Not because of some label or lineage, but because you feel the call to return, to remember, to awaken. And if you've made it this far in the journey, know this, you are not alone. The universe has walked beside you with every tear, every joy, every awakening. This is not the end, but the opening of a gate. In the final page, we shall complete the circle. We will return to the center of the wheel, and together we will reflect on the 9 divine protections, lessons, and revelations that visit those who dare to disturb a chosen one. You are loved. You are guided. You are eternal. Dear soul, you have made it. You have journeyed with me across the 7 sacred pages, through pain and peace, fear and faith, forgetting and remembering. And now, here we are at the final threshold. Let us gently close this chapter with a bow to the truth that has always lived inside of you. The sacred conclusion, the 9 divine responses to those who harm a chosen one. Let us briefly recall, not with anger, but with awareness, the sacred protections woven into the very fabric of the chosen one's soul. Karma accelerates. Whatever harm is sent returns swiftly, not as punishment, but as teaching. Energetic reversal. Intentions meant to break the chosen one bounce back and burden the sender. Spiritual isolation of the aggressor. Their higher self begins to distance until they face their actions. Loss of divine favor. Those who harm a chosen one unknowingly shut the gates of grace in their own life, haunting by guilt or shadows. The soul of the attacker knows the truth and it aches. Blockages appear, progress halts until lessons are integrated and peace is made. The chosen one rises higher, harm only strengthens their clarity. and their mission, divine intervention, synchronicities. Dreams and signs protect the chosen one. The world learns. Eventually, truth reveals itself to all. What was hidden is seen. What was twisted is straightened. But here's the deeper wisdom: none of these protections exist so that the chosen one may feel superior. They exist because the mission must continue. You were sent here with a purpose. You are not fragile. You are forged, and what you carry is sacred. So when someone attempts to disturb that light, not only will the universe respond, but your soul will expand. The chosen one does not seek revenge. They seek evolution. The chosen one does not curse others. They bless from a distance and move forward. The chosen one does not shout, "You'll regret this." They whisper, "You'll understand when you're ready." My dear listener, if you have been hurt, mocked, rejected, misunderstood, know that the pain did not break you, it refined you. And if you have ever been the one who caused pain, know that redemption is always possible, but only through the fire of honest reflection and the water of true repentance. The chosen one's journey is not one of praise, or followers, or status. It is a journey of remembering the eternal. When you embody peace, you change the world quietly. When you heal generations silently. When you forgive, you ascend swiftly. You don't need to shout your story, your vibration speaks volumes. Let this be your reflection. Who are you becoming when no one is watching? Where are you still holding on to pain when release is one breath away? What are you allowing in your life that no longer serves your soul's contract? Because you, dear soul, are also chosen, not in an exclusive way, but in an awakened way. You are here because you remembered, and this memory is your power. May all beings who have been harmed be healed. May all beings who have harmed others awaken. May you carry this wisdom like a flame, quiet, steady, and radiant. May no one dim your light. And if they try, may you shine even brighter. If this message resonated with your soul, like, share, and subscribe to continue walking this sacred path with us. Each video from Soulful Wisdom is crafted to awaken your truth, restore your peace, and guide you home to yourself. Let's journey together.